I was sitting alone in my apartment, drinking cold coffee, completely unaware that my entire family was celebrating without me. I didn't receive an invitation. I didn't get a phone call. I wasn't even told the wedding had happened. I only found out because photos suddenly appeared on my Facebook timeline. There they all were, my parents, my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, more than 200 smiling guests standing beside a beautiful lakeside venue. Every single member of my family was there, except me. I didn't call anyone. I didn't send an angry message. I simply closed the app and went back to work. 4 days later, my phone buzzed. It was a text from my father. It read, "Your brother is heartbroken that you never congratulated him." I stared at those words and quietly laughed. Before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Now, let's get started. My name is Natalie Brooks, and I'm 29 years old. Until 4 days after my brother got married, I didn't even know there had been a wedding. That Saturday morning started like every other weekend. I made coffee, answered a few work emails, and sat down on my couch for a quiet break before running errands. Without thinking, I opened Facebook. The first thing I saw stopped me cold. It was a beautiful wedding photo of my younger brother, Ryan, standing beside his new wife beneath a flower-covered arch overlooking a peaceful lakeside. They were smiling, surrounded by more than 200 guests. I kept scrolling. There were my parents laughing during the reception, my grandparents dancing, my aunts, uncles, cousins, childhood friends. Every single member of my family was there. Every single one except me. I checked the date, hoping the pictures were old. They weren't. The wedding had happened that very afternoon. I searched my email. Nothing. I checked my text messages. Nothing. No invitation. No phone call. Not even a simple conversation explaining why I wasn't welcome. For a long moment, I just stared at my phone. Then I quietly locked the screen, finished my coffee, and went back to work. 4 days later, my phone buzzed with a message from Dad. "Your brother is heartbroken that you never congratulated him." I read those words twice before deciding silence was the only answer he was getting for now. Looking back, I don't think my parents ever meant to make me feel invisible. It just happened so often that eventually it became normal. Ryan was 4 years younger than me, cheerful, outgoing, and somehow always at the center of every family decision. Whenever there was only enough money for one extracurricular activity, Ryan got it because he needed the opportunity more. If birthdays overlapped with one of his sports tournaments, my celebration was quietly moved to another weekend. Whenever I looked disappointed, my father would smile and say, "You're the older one, Natalie. You'll understand." That sentence followed me through my entire childhood. I understood when Ryan borrowed my things without asking. I understood when my plans were changed to fit his schedule. I understood when family vacations revolved around his interests instead of mine. Eventually, I stopped expecting anything different. After college, I accepted a marketing job nearly 600 miles away. For the first time, I built a life where I wasn't constantly compared to someone else. I found wonderful friends, loved my career, and discovered how peaceful life could feel when nobody expected me to quietly sacrifice everything. When Ryan called months earlier to announce his engagement, I was genuinely happy for him. We laughed for nearly an hour about childhood memories and wedding ideas. As we ended the call, he smiled and said, "I can't wait to celebrate together." At the time, I believed every word. Over the next several months, wedding plans became a regular topic whenever I spoke to my family. My mother mentioned tasting cakes. My aunt talked about flower arrangements. One cousin accidentally let it slip that the ceremony would be held at a beautiful lakeside venue just outside Madison. Everyone seemed excited. Everyone seemed busy. And somehow, every conversation ended before anyone mentioned my invitation. At first, I assumed it had simply been delayed. The mail wasn't always reliable between states, and people planning weddings had 1,000 details to manage. I didn't want to become the difficult sister demanding attention while everyone else was trying to organize such an important day. So I waited. A few weeks later, one of my cousins posted a picture of an elegant cream-colored envelope with the caption, can't wait for Ryan's big day. My stomach tightened. I checked my mailbox every afternoon after work. Nothing arrived. I quietly asked my mother if invitations had already been sent. She smiled and said, "I'm sure yours is on the way." It never came. Little by little, the truth became impossible to ignore. This wasn't a lost letter. It wasn't a printing mistake. Someone had made a decision. I could have called Ryan and demanded an explanation. I could have argued with my parents or begged to know why. Instead, I chose something much harder. I accepted that if they wanted me there, they already knew how to reach me. Then the wedding weekend arrived, and so did the photographs that answered every question without saying a single word. For 4 days, I didn't hear a single word from anyone. No calls, no explanations, no apologies. Life simply moved on as though my absence from my own brother's wedding had been completely ordinary. Then, on Wednesday afternoon, while I was eating lunch at my desk, my phone buzzed. It was a message from my father. "Your brother is heartbroken that you never congratulated him. He can't believe you ignored the biggest day of his life." I read it twice before setting my sandwich down. Out of all the things I had expected, that wasn't one of them. I wasn't angry anymore. I was confused. After a few minutes, I typed the only question that mattered. "Dad, how was I supposed to congratulate a wedding I wasn't invited to?" The typing indicator appeared almost immediately. "There must be some misunderstanding," he replied. "Your invitation was sent months ago." I opened my email. Nothing. I searched every text conversation. Nothing. Then I took screenshots of everything. My empty inbox. My message history. Even my recent call log showing there hadn't been a single missed call from anyone in the family. I sent the screenshots without adding another word. Several long minutes passed. Finally, another message appeared. "That's impossible." For the first time since I had seen those wedding photographs, my father stopped accusing me. Instead, he started asking questions. And in that moment, I realized something didn't make sense, not even to him. Whatever had happened, the truth was much bigger than a forgotten invitation. Later that evening, my phone rang again. This time, it wasn't my father. It was Ryan. The moment I answered, he sounded completely confused. "Natalie," he said quietly, "I thought you chose not to come." For a second, I couldn't even respond. "What are you talking about?" I finally asked. He explained that his wife, Megan, had told him months earlier that she had spoken with me about the wedding. According to her, I wasn't interested in attending because I still felt uncomfortable around some extended family members. I closed my eyes. "Ryan," I said gently, "that conversation never happened." There was a long silence. Then he admitted something that surprised both of us. Megan had misunderstood an old family dinner months before the engagement. She had overheard me telling a cousin that I sometimes found large family gatherings emotionally exhausting after moving away. Somehow, she interpreted that as me wanting distance from everyone. Instead of asking me directly, she quietly removed my name from the guest list. Ryan assumed I had received an invitation and politely declined. Neither of them ever confirmed the truth. One misunderstanding became another until it grew into months of painful silence. "I should have called you myself," Ryan whispered. His voice cracked. "I never imagined you were sitting at home believing your own family had forgotten you." Before hanging up, he asked one simple question. "Will you meet me tomorrow?" The next afternoon, Ryan and I met at a quiet coffee shop halfway between our parents' house and my hotel. For a few moments, neither of us spoke. Then he looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, "I'm so sorry, Nat. I should have picked up the phone instead of assuming someone else had already talked to you." I nodded slowly. I wasn't hurt because I missed a wedding, I admitted. I was hurt because nobody thought to ask where I was. He lowered his head. "I failed you," he whispered, "and I hate that it took this for me to realize it." For the first time in years, we talked honestly instead of politely. We spoke about childhood, expectations, and how easy it had become for our family to make assumptions instead of having real conversations. I accepted his apology, but I also told him that trust doesn't return overnight. It grows one honest conversation at a time. When we hugged goodbye, Nothing was magically fixed. But for the first time in a very long while, it finally felt like we were walking in the same direction instead of drifting farther apart. Several months have passed since that phone call, and life looks very different now. Ryan and I speak regularly, not because we're pretending nothing happened, but because we've chosen honesty over assumptions. Trust didn't return all at once. It came back through small promises kept, difficult conversations, and the willingness to listen before judging. My relationship with the rest of my family is still more distant than it once was, and I've learned that's okay. Healthy boundaries aren't punishments. Sometimes they're the only way to protect your peace. Looking back, I wasn't excluded because I wasn't loved. I was excluded because people stopped communicating and started assuming. If my story has taught me anything, it's this. Never let silence answer questions that a simple conversation could resolve. An invitation can be lost. A misunderstanding can be corrected. But trust is rebuilt one honest choice at a time. And that's the gift my brother and I chose to give each other.